A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. I'm the one
Yes.
that's gonna benefit.
We're back.
That it is.
I got the orange on, a little trick or treat.
Yeah. Oh,
Halloween
yeah.
havoc.
I had definitely thought about Halloween today. I was like, do I bring a costume of sorts? But
I know this is the second show that we do in the last 2 weeks that we should have wore suits to because of our guests.
you're so
That'll be
right.
coming on later, and we spoke
so
about
right.
us wearing suits for an episode. It would have been fitting, but regardless, we're not in suits, but we're in orange for Halloween. We're in black jeans for Halloween. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. I'm your host, Nick Dais, at Nick Dais 10 as you can find me. The number one sports betting vibe on the planet. We are here. George to my left,
Yes.
looking bald and beautiful, baby.
Yeah, I know, dude. I actually had let a little peach fuzz grow out, and I was like at the most like a microfiber cloth worth of hair, and it felt good, dude. Like
Yeah.
I liked doing it, and then
It's like when you get the fade in the back and you can
Yes.
kind of just like raise it a little bit.
yeah, bro. Imagine that, but everywhere.
Everywhere.
I was like the top of a microphone, you know? It's just like little fuzz. Yeah. And so I had to shave it off though, so I can be fucking camera ready.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Always looking right. Once
Yes.
again, it seems like more and more people think George should just be giving picks out on the show. Discord member said, I will follow George through a dark tunnel. Any picks he makes, I'm betting on. Nick, get it together.
I think they're kind of just doing it because they like seeing you in the struggle, you know?
Yeah.
I think the community, as much as I will take that as a huge compliment, I think it's more of an F you to you.
I also think I've set the bar so high. It's like, hey man, be better, bro. You gotta be better. That's what I like to, so I can feel better about myself.
Wow.
It's like the expectations, they expect greatness. And I'm just not delivering on greatness.
Spin zone. That's
zone,
what
baby.
this episode might be titled. Just turn everything into a spin zone.
The spin zone.
Yes.
By the way, to get into the Discord, it's free. The link is in the bio of every episode. Join the Discord. The betting access that you'll get, that's if you're a Patreon member, which we'll get to towards the end of the show. But yeah, I just want to clear that up. We're trying to build out the Discord community as well. We have about 250 members in the Discord, and we have about 90 members in the paid tier, which gets the betting picks.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Sick.
Discord is in the bio.
We'd love to see it.
We do love to see it. How you doing, man? I feel like I never ask you how you're doing. We just come in and we start recording.
Yeah, that's really how it happens, people. Like,
Yeah.
if you're wondering behind the scenes how this all shakes up. But I'm doing great, Nick. I got an Arkansas trip again this week. So on Friday morning, I'm out of here. So tomorrow, Nick, I have so much work to do. That's why I'm so excited to be here right now, because it's avoiding problems. Earlier today, I went shopping because I didn't want to work. Like I cleaned my car, detailed that motherfucker because I didn't want to work. And now I come to do the show because I'm happy here, but tomorrow's going to be a bitch.
Yeah. Do you feel like you always put a lot on your plate right before you travel?
Of course, because I don't want to do a damn thing while I'm traveling.
Yeah.
I
feel that. That's for damn sure.
bro, I will work till maybe 1 a.m. tomorrow. If that's what it takes. I don't think it'll take that. But like, if that's what it took for me not to do anything my entire trip, best believe I'm doing it.
Yeah, that was kind of what I did last week before I went to New York. Bro, it was crazy. It was a lot of shit to get done. And then while I was at the airport, I was getting shit done before I got on the flight. And then I even bought the Wi-Fi, which, by the way,
It blows.
it sucks, bro.
Yeah, not
Wi-Fi on the plane is so ass. I guess the $450 I have to pay for my seat is not enough. I got to pay $12 now for Wi-Fi. Not going to mention the airline, Delta. But, like, come on, man. I'm a fucking frequent flyer mile member. I can't get a hookup?
So what were you using Wi-Fi for? Were you using it to stream games? Like watch like live events?
No, this is going to upset you. I tried to upload something on YouTube.
You're stupid as fuck, dude. What are you doing?
It said
What are you
7.5
doing?
hour wait.
That's
It was rough. I was trying to bang out more content, bro. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this. So that's why there wasn't a bet, a week 8 best bets video up on the channel because I was like, yo, fuck that. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of like uploading through carrier pigeon, like up there on that airplane Wi-Fi. It always blows my mind. How do we not get better Wi-Fi? We're so high in the air.
Yeah.
Like, aren't we closer to the satellites?
I don't know. Are we?
Still don't understand how Wi-Fi works. We have to bring a Wi-Fi expert.
We do,
on.
yeah. I'm not into outer space. I'm not into. Would that be science?
Yeah, Wi-Fi science.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Didn't do well in science.
Or is it like witchcraft?
Whoa, Halloween.
Spooky shit, bro. Spooky. How was New York? We didn't get a chance to like debrief on that. You got to go back.
Yeah, New York.
See the people.
New York was cool, man. I like. Is it weird that I feel like I go back a lot, but I only go twice a year?
Explain. Yeah.
Bro, every time I go back, I can't wait to come back here. I fucking when I land and I look at the Las Vegas sign, like "Welcome to Las Vegas," I don't even need Blue Chew, bro. I don't even need fucking anything. What's the other one? Viagra,
Yeah. Cialis.
Cialis, the honey shit at the gas station. None of that.
The Rhino X9000.
Yeah, I don't need Medellin.
Nope.
I just need that sign, bro. When I see that sign, I'm like, Daddy's home. That's how I feel. That's just me. That's just how I feel. I like it. When I do go to New York, though, it's cool. This trip in particular was really interesting because I got to see a lot of my friends, which is something I don't normally do. Because the one thing that sucks, bro, about going home is my time is limited. And not to sound like cool or big time or anything, it's the truth. I'm there for 3 days. It's like, how many people can I possibly see? Whereas when people come to visit here, it's so much better because I have my routine. But then, like, I don't need to, people are here and they'll come to me as opposed to me going to them. And also, I don't live in Queens now. My parents have the house in Long Island. So for me to commute, it's like the traffic sucks. The commute sucks, especially when I am driving into the city if I have to. It's like what should be a 40-minute drive is now 2.5 hours. So that's crazy. Definitely didn't miss the traffic at all. But I more so miss the people, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I got some really cool people back home that I got to see and hang out with. There was a lot of people I saw that I wanted to see for petty reasons. I wanted to make sure they saw me. I made it very clear to a lot of people that I'm no longer either friends with them or associates with them.
Damn, you came in with a axe mentality.
Yeah, because you know what else happened, bro? And it was interesting. Cam was talking about this on their show the other day, and I told him after, I was like, bro, I feel like you were speaking for me. But he's like, as I've gotten older, one thing I realized like about like friendship, and I know we talk about friendship a lot on the show, but for me, it's something that I've kind of been really intrigued by, how people view good friends, how people view the difference between a friend and an acquaintance. And like there's certain people that like say a lot of things when I'm not around, and then I'll have others sort of defend me. And that to me is like the marks of a good friend. You know, we had an incident one time, we'll not name any names, where through a mutual friend, someone was bad-mouthing them. And I just told that person straight up, like, yo, I'm going to tell them because I don't like you talking about George when George is my guy. Like, I feel like that's low, bro. That makes me look bad, too. So I went back home. I saw a bunch of people. I made it clear that I was excited to see some people. And then the other people was like, oh, yeah, good to see you. But like the left, handshake with the left.
Oof.
Super disrespectful, bro.
That is.
And yeah, it was cool though, man. I spent a lot of time with my parents, which normally I don't when I go back home. Usually football Sundays, we'll do the family brunch, we'll do a family dinner.
Yeah.
And then both my parents go to bed at like right before kickoff of Sunday Night Football. Remember there it's at 8:30 when the game kicks off.
Right.
So I got to spend a lot of time with them. Saw my puppies, which was dope. My 3 dogs. And yeah, it was cool, man. The weather was nice. I had a good time. But I love coming back here, bro.
It's the greatest city on earth.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would agree with me on that. I think if you were to do a poll, Vegas is up there. It's getting a lot of votes. It might win the Electoral College. There we go. There, I had to throw some election related in. I know we're not going to touch politics.
No, we will never. We won't do that. That's not our thing. But if you want to throw that in there, good.
That's just that's a funny political joke there. Vegas may win based on the Electoral College.
Yeah, I mean Vegas is
What the fuck?
It's lit. It's lit, bro. It's lit. You threw me off with the politics. I can't tell you how much I don't care about it, bro.
I know. I said electoral college, and I literally saw your mind go.
I was just like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
George, people are starting to like you, bro. What are you doing?
All I will say on that topic is around this time next week, a lot of people are going to be mad or happy. Regardless, you got to go to work the next day. That's kind of how I look at it. So it kind of
You're either going to go with a smile on your face,
or you're going to be mad.
Yep.
And you know what? Shout out to Cam and Mace. It is what it is.
Ooh.
We'll just leave it at that. Okay. We got an interesting fan question.
Yes.
And it kind of has to tie in with something that I feel very passionate about, which is mixed martial arts as a whole. And Mike in the Discord asked, yo, did you see the interaction between the Bills and the Texans fan from that game a couple of weeks ago? For those that didn't see the interaction, there was one gentleman in a hat who was like maybe 2 steps below. The other gentleman was like above him, and he was like heckling at him, and he was like standing over him like he just like broke up a 3rd and 8 pass. The DB is like flexing and all that. And the other guy is just like laughing and doing all that stuff.
Right.
Well, it turns out the dude with the hat is a professional boxer who's 14-0 with, I think, 11 knockouts. His name is escaping me right now, but
on the tweet, I believe it just said Olympic boxer.
Boxer.
Yeah, it was just like this dude. I didn't see a name either.
But I saw some highlights. He had some knockouts, him hitting the bag like very casually, and it was like, holy shit, that looks sick. Are you a fan of fan fighting videos? Do you watch those like the World Star shit or
Nick,
whatever it might be? Like, are you into that?
I love it. I love it. Are you kidding me, bro? You just saw what I did at the Steelers-Raiders game.
Yeah.
In the reel, I said the fights in the stadium were more entertaining than the game.
Yeah.
And that's a good deal of the time.
Isn't it crazy that you're at a professional sporting event?
Mm-hmm.
Any professional sporting event. Dude, it's happened at UFC fights that I go to. Professional fights. If these 2 morons from their fraternity start brawling, everyone starts looking that way.
Yes.
How crazy is that?
It's my favorite thing that a crowd can do because it makes you uneasy at first. You're like, why is everyone looking at me? And you're like, oh, wait. And then you turn and you're like, oh, my God. And the people are just swinging and then the cops are coming in because it's a very unconventional. It's almost like you're playing Super Smash Bros. Where the map is just different, you know? Like you had the chairs, the stairs. It's not a flat level surface. Very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I think because I train martial arts and I'm around it so much, I'm not a fan of those, bro. You see some people get smoked.
Yeah.
Flatlined. T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
Stiff as a board.
Stiff as a board, buddy. No,
I think because I'm around it and, you know, I do jujitsu, but a lot of my friends spar and they're in the fight game and I have a lot of friends in the fight game and I see it. I see the dangers, right? We talk about this all the time. One of the reasons why I would never want to do like any sort of gimmicky fight is I respect the art too much. I'll do a grappling jiu-jitsu competition if there's any podcasters out there that are in the jiu-jitsu space and maybe we could put some money up for charity and they want to get Darce. They're gonna get Darce because everyone gets Darce. That's just how it is. I'd be down to do that. But as far as like the actual punching and the striking, I think that's very scary shit. Like you can't play with that, bro.
Correct.
And I think what happens is the calmer the person is with these interactions, I think the scarier you should be.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is yapping and barking and yelling, I'm just like, cool, man, just do your thing, whatever. But if I was to get into it with someone and they're like, hey, man, you sure you want to do this? Like my buddy Jared Gordon, who fights in the UFC. One time we were out at a bar and he told this dude, he's like, bro, you sure you want to do this? And we're in the background like, you do not want to do this. Look at his ears. His nose is fucked up. You don't want to do this. So I think the calmer that those people are, I think it's because, in all honesty, they understand the dangers that they put themselves in.
Mm-hmm.
And the loud voices, like, that don't scare the people that are calm. And I just think that when you see someone that calm, bro, definitely be careful with those guys.
Yeah, because had that boxer thrown a punch, if I'm not mistaken, right, like that's a felony because their hands are weapons.
I think in some places that's the case.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
not a joke, right? Like that literally exists. Like you have to register your hands if you're a professional fighter.
Some fighters, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So
Yeah, that's a real thing because they're trained killers, bro.
yeah. Yeah. So like legally, he's doing what he has to do. But even in those type of situations, if the person is calm, yeah, there should be no need to continue to like try to aggravate the other person. So if I was ever at a game, right, and somebody was chirping at me, like I definitely would never let it get to blows, Nick. One, because, hey, we paid to get here. Why would we want to get kicked out of this? And two, you know how many sporting events I've been kicked out of because of family fights?
Really?
Oh, Nick, like
Yeah,
my entire
you guys get down like that?
my entire childhood growing up at a Rose Bowl, my dad got into it with somebody. I had to literally pull him off a guy and like, we're at the Rose Bowl, bro. This is the first trip that Cameron ever came with us
With
too.
the family?
So that was a wild one. My uncle at UNLV basketball games, we would be chirping hard and families would get into it. And my uncle does not play that shit, bro. And then, yeah, we would get kicked. We got kicked out a lot. So I'm kind of over getting kicked out. But I'm a huge fan of it because now that I've seen like what happens on the back end of it, I'm just so happy it's not me, So, and bro, we all love a good fight.
Yeah. To your point, one thing I do like is if I am around it, I'll just like casually just be sitting there watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's the New Yorker in me, but like I'm a firm believer in minding your business. If you're gonna get into a fight, I'm not gonna sit there and watch.
Right.
Because you're my friend.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't know you and you and Antoine, I don't know you guys start fighting outside the ring. You know what I'm doing? I'm just doing this. Why should I get involved?
Yeah. Oh no, not get involved.
Then I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get sucker punched. Like you're going to break it up. Like that's
bro.
bad. I've had friends when I was in college that their girlfriends would go and like hug them to separate them,
Holy
and then
shit.
they get clocked.
That was stupid.
And it's like, yo, just let them be. Yo, funny story, bro. We're at jiu-jitsu one time, right? And Shane, with the mullet, my coach, he gets into it with some kid, and like they square up. And dude, I take 2 steps over that way, and me and Teddy, one of the guys I train with, I just look at him and go, what am I gonna do, bro?
Like, there's no stopping that.
Also, like, Shane's a fucking he's a 2-0 or 3-0 professional fighter. He's had like 12 fights in his life. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I was like, yo, Teddy, what am I gonna go do, bro? You want to continue rolling? And like the whole gym like ran over there, and then me and Teddy were just started rolling and finishing our round.
Bro, that's why tasers were invented.
Yeah. But I will say, just to put a bow on this conversation, just be careful, man. The people that don't engage in that are very calm, it's because they know the dangers of fighting. They know what they could do with their arms. They know what could happen if they do hit you and you hit your head on the concrete. I get some scary shit. Like you see people's heads in the UFC bounce off the canvas. You've seen Tua's head bounce off the turf. Now imagine if you're actually knocked out standing up and then you land and you can't brace yourself. And that's concrete, or that's like on the side of a step. You could die.
Yeah.
So just be very careful. It's one of the reasons why I hate going to games also, because to your point, you're paying $5,000, $6,000, $2,000 to go into these venues and you're going to pick a fight, bro. Like I said before, next week, you guys are going to wake up either upset or angry or happy. You still got to go to work the next day. So if I'm paying $900 for a sporting event, I'm not going to get into a fight because I got work the next day. I got shit to do.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah. It would have to be, people would have to disrespect the shit out of me.
Right. And like I said before, though, it would have to be something where I'm very passive. I've always been. And now that I actually train and I know what I'm doing, I'm even more passive. But obviously, there's a certain line that can't get crossed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said before, if it's someone I know that gets into it, I'm down to
clown.
I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And none of this wait. My nephew back home, and then we'll get into the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But I just feel passionate about this.
Yeah.
My nephew got back home. He's 10 years old. He got into a fight in school, and his mom my aunt kept yelling like, "Oh, he hit him first." I was like, "Good." It's like, "No, he shouldn't hit him first." I'm like, "No. If you know that you're gonna get into it with someone, I'm not letting you hit me first."
Yeah.
And you could tell, right? Like body language, if you're close,
Starts
right? One thing about training, you understand distance. Like if you're this far from me, I know I'm safe.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's nothing you could do. You can't even throw a head kick from there, right? Like there's nothing you could do.
No, I
Now,
tried.
if we're closer to one another and your arms reach, that's where I'm like, all right, now you're getting into that zone. Now I got to be careful, have my guard up. I'm gonna probably hit you first.
Well, they call me the orangutan, Nick,
Okay.
because I come from all different angles. I got really long arms. Believe it or not, my wingspan is 4 inches longer
Then your height.
than my height.
Whoa, so you're a freak.
Oh, Nick, you bet.
Let's go.
Oh, he doesn't know my distance,
Let's
bro.
go.
What?
You can close the distance quick.
There we go.
brother.
Yeah,
Close the distance quick.
the orangutan.
I want to stay a little bit with the Texans because this was a Texans fan that was involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
Bad news for the Texans. Stefon Diggs out for the year with a torn ACL. It seemed like he was having a good time in Houston. It seemed like they welcomed him with open arms. Before I give my answer, what do you think about this injury to Diggs? What it means for him? Remember, this is a contract year for him. He's a unrestricted free agent after this season. And what's it mean for the Texans, bro, moving forward?
Yeah, so this is like a real demoralizing type injury for a person that's been in the league for 10 years. When you look at the other receivers that were drafted in his draft class, you got Nelson Aguilar, Amari Cooper, and him. Like those were really the premier players from that draft class. The last 6 seasons, he's put up over 1,000 yards receiving. This is going to be a huge blow to his mentals and his morale. But for any time or for it to happen at this moment in time, it's a positive for him. And I'm going to say this. He can now go ring chase again, and he can play the Odell game, and he can go get himself a ring. And I think that that's what his career now needs to shift into. Is it with the Texans next year? I don't know. He was happy, right? Not being the number one option and having all those eyeballs on you all the time feels kind of nice. But I also know that, you know, they have to make their business decisions too. And does Houston really want to rely on a receiver who's going to be, 30?
He'll be 32 next season.
32. So I don't think that that's the investment that they want to make. And if they do, it won't be at the price that he wants. So no, he's going to leave. And he will have another 1,000-yard receiving season. I think he is capable of that. Now, do you think the same?
Anytime someone suffers injury that ends their season, it blows, obviously. But I also think, to your point, it's better when it happens early in the season because then you won't miss the following season, right? Odell gets hurt in the Super Bowl. He has to miss the rest of the Super Bowl, and then he missed all of the year after.
Yep.
If you get hurt around Christmas or week 13, probably going to miss all of next year also.
Yep.
So whereas you're a $20 million receiver, you blow an ACL week 13, December 2nd. When you go into your contract negotiation, they're probably going to be like, yo, you're a $20 million receiver. We're probably going to give you 8.
Yep.
Because you're not going to play the first 12, 13, 14 weeks. So silver lining, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he does return to the Texans. They'll have the money to do it because they still don't have to pay their quarterback.
Right.
He's on a rookie deal. He's in year 2. He'll probably be able to play next year and the year after that before they can do the Jordan Love thing. So probably entering year 4, they'll extend him, but then the cap hit won't start until the following year, sort of like how Jordan Love and the Trevor Lawrences of the world, those contracts next year, it's going to, if you think it's bad for Jacksonville now, next year it's going to be even worse.
Right.
Because that's when the $55 million a year comes into play. So it sucks, man. And for the Texans, it also sucks because they're already without Nico Collins, who really emerged as the number 1 wide receiver for them. And Stefon Diggs, to your point, was no longer the number 1. We know about the relationship he has with Tank Dell, CJ Stroud, that is. So you had a nice 3-headed monster at wide receiver. And then you had Joe Mixon in the backfield. This is a really good offense. But now without him there, without Nico Collins, what is this? It's cluster injuries.
Yeah.
You're going to hate this, but I've already bet the Jets Thursday Night Football. I got them as a 1-point favorite.
Well, there's a reason they're a favorite, bro. Like, Vegas isn't stupid. They're willing to take the chance.
It's all right. It's Tank Dell. Jets are backed against the ropes. They lose Thursday Night Football. It is, we said they were toast before. It's like burnt toast, like bad.
Like they might fire Aaron Rodgers.
Like what you said.
Whoa, wait if they traded him.
Aaron Rodgers retires at halftime kind of thing. Dude,
Yes,
remember Vontae Davis, the corner, played for the Colts?
Mm-hmm.
He retired at halftime.
Yeah.
He was
So
like,
it's
yo,
happened.
I'm out. At halftime, he just said, I'm not doing this shit no more.
How baller is that?
That's pretty, yeah. That's some shit I would do. I'd be like, I'm not doing this shit no more, bro.
Bro, and then you just go home and
I'm
you
just
know
out.
your career's over. You've retired.
I've told you the dollar amount that I have in my head that I want to
Yeah.
make, right? It's $20 million. I'm out, bro. If we sign like a 3-year deal with some sports betting company for $20 million, when that contract is up, I'm out. I'm out. I don't need more than that. I'm good.
That's
I'm out.
Nick Scott.
I'm going to move right to Colombia. I'm going to move to
Yep.
Medellin, buy a couple of houses. Hopefully by then I'll be a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And if not, I'm really good at front headlock, Darce anacondas. I could just teach that for 18 months. I'll just passport bro it up. Just live down there. I know Isaiah's going to come visit. Yeah, got the thumbs up over there. You know, that's my plan. 20 mil and I'm out.
Yeah, and that's what Aaron Rodgers is going to do at halftime, bro.
Yeah,
He's
so
just
imagine
gonna
these
realize
guys,
it.
and I'm saying this, these guys have made 50, 60, $300 million. I ain't doing this no more. He's going to throw one more pass to Mike Williams. He's going to drop it. He's going to take the, fuck this, bro.
Like run right into the locker room. Like after he throws the pick, instead of going for the tackle, he just runs to the locker room.
I'm out. That's what he's saying.
God, I can't wait for that to happen.
Good luck on your future endeavors, Jets Nation. Hit him with a JETS and bounce.
Oh, it really is going to happen like that. All right, back to Stefon Diggs. He was on pace to have a 1,000-yard receiving season. So that would have been 7 years in a row. Had he stayed healthy, what is he getting next year, contract-wise? Because this year he got...
he got $22 million this year.
Yes.
Signed a 1-year deal. Probably like north of 15. That's probably what the rate is for a receiver his age and his production. Yo, can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Is 1,000 yards really that impressive?
Yeah.
Now with the extra game.
Mm-hmm. I still think 1,000 for a receiver is what they put on the you must hit list.
But like, is it as impressive as it once was? Like, this dude's 1,000-yard receiver. You used to be like, holy shit, he's 1,000 yards. Now what is it? Is it like 62 yards a game that they average? 1,000 divided by 17. 58 yards. 59 yards. 59 yards a game. You're a 1,000-yard wide receiver.
Yeah.
Is it as impressive as it once was? I'm going to lean no.
I'm going to lean yes. It's still a very... Okay, I have to look up how many receivers had 1,000 yards last year. And I think that will help put it into perspective for
Right.
you, that this is not that easy. 2024 wide receiver stats. Yeah, you can just go to the leaders.
I just think 58 yards a game is why, like, if your wide receiver 3 gets you 58 yards a game, you're like, yo, that's crazy. He had 58 yards. But for a number one, now I think the bar is 1,500 yards. About 100 yards a game, 1,600 yards. Like CeeDee Lamb last year, that's impressive. Justin Jefferson 2 years ago, that's impressive. Cooper Kupp, 1,900 yards. To me
All right,
now
it's 1,500. I'll say 1,500. Yeah, there's 29 people
got 1,000 yards.
last year that got 1,000 yards.
Right. How many got like over? Give me 1,300. How many got over 1,300?
I got you.
Because to me, that's more impressive, bro. Like I said, the CeeDee Lamb
10.
year, 10. So 10 guys got over 13. That's impressive. 1,000 yards, it's like, I don't think it's what it was a couple years ago with the extra game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as impressive.
1,000
Right?
yards will for sure get you paid Mega money.
But to your point, right? Like Mike Evans, most 1,000-yard seasons to start a career, most 1,000 yards consecutive to start a career with one franchise. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, he batted 300, right, in baseball, or he's a 30 home run guy. Well, 30 home run guy when there was 120 games and now 162 is different. 1,000 yards now, one extra game as opposed to one less game, I think it's different. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's just not, it's not, to me, when you tell me like, yo, he's a 1,000-yard receiver, I'm like, okay. Yo, he's a 1,500-yard receiver. Okay, now I'm in.
I definitely needed to look at the stats to help put it into perspective. 30 people, that means one person on every team is getting 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah.
So if you're receiver number one on your team, you better have 1,000 yards.
Yeah, like it's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting.
Unless you play for the Patriots.
Right. Patriots, the Giants. Hell, remember the Ravens last year? They didn't have no receiver over 800 yards. They just had a bunch of guys like being productive. They have like 9 guys with over 400 yards. But still, a 1,000-yard receiver, I just don't think. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. I feel like I might get attacked for this, but I just don't think it's as impressive.
We'll see.
It's like with NBA guys. Oh, he drops 30 a game. Yeah, but he's shooting 12 threes a game. It's a different 30
Correct.
than 10 years ago or 20 years ago. That's why you see all the older heads always complaining about oh, yeah, I would have had 60 in today's game. And like, yeah, you probably would have. Probably would have. With all the advancements in medicine and the travels and no back-to-backs and all that shit. I think it's just important. I think context is everything. And my perspective is I don't think it's as impressive as it once was.
We'll let the comments determine this from here on out.
Staying with the Diggs family.
Yeah.
Yet another reporter/fan gets into it with an athlete. Trevon Diggs of the Dallas Cowboys sort of checked a reporter. They didn't want to answer his question because of an old tweet. And he sort of says something to him along the lines of, you don't know football, you can't do what I could do. Has it gotten crazy, the interactions between athletes and media/fans? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, how David Montgomery thought about killing himself because of fantasy football players.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people, athletes, have gotten crazy DMs because they blew up their $20 parlay.
Yeah.
Has it gotten too wild?
It is not gotten too wild. I just think players are not controlling themselves as well as they should. Like, you have to understand that this is the role of the media to ask you these questions, and there's different ways of going about not answering their questions. But to say, like, this is the part that upsets me, Nick, and it should upset you too, because at a certain point in time, the majority of people in this world will not play in the NFL, right?
I think that's a fair assessment.
But there is a lot of people like ourselves that report on this amazing sport. And for those athletes to then come back to somebody who's a journalist and is probably watching the team harder than we are to tell them that they don't know football, I think is a real slight, to what that journalist has done in their career, right? Like, just as much as you're getting to play this game, we get to report on this game, and we're all making a lot of money off of it. So if it's in the manner of like, you don't know football, you know what I mean? Like, and in a negative, really mean sort of way, which it was, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, you have to befriend the media in a sense too. Like, at a certain point in time, those stories that are being written about you are the little things that you do interacting with that reporter, that reporter is taking that as your character. So are you smiling? Do you ask me how my day was? Like, are you more interactive than just a player coming in, answer questions, leave? You know what I mean? Like, that's the things that, at least I tell Junior, I'm like, you don't want these journalists to not like you,
Yeah, this is who's voting for All-American. This is who's going to write the good articles about, he's a class act character guy for drafts, right? Staying on the topic with your brother. Yeah, it's important. Now, I think people's, and I genuinely believe this, not just in sports, not just in media, I think just across the board, I think the problem is people's intentions are good, but how they go about it is wrong in many aspects of things. And I don't know exactly what the tweets were, but was it like, oh, his personal life is disrupting his play on the field, and he was way more focused before he had the baby mama drama that he had in the offseason. Like, now you're attacking his personal life and his character. Like that I could see why it's triggering to the athlete. But if he's just like, yo, he's not as good as he once was, has he fully recovered from the ACL surgery and the ACL injury he had? You know, they always say that it's not that first year that you see the athlete really bounce back. There are anomalies. Adrian Peterson blew out his ACL and then he had 2,000 yards, won MVP. And shit, he did it not like how we described it before. He got hurt last game of the season in January and then came back the next year, September, fucking went crazy. So what was the context? Again, context is everything. You see it in the fight game all the time. One of the reasons why I wanted to train some sort of martial art was I never wanted to have these fighters come on the show and me not know how to get out of mount or me not know what it's like to do a 5-minute round where you're like, holy shit, that was just 5 minutes. Now I got to do it again. And hold on, there's not all these bright lights and all these people watching also. It's just me in the gym. Where like, you know, you could tell when someone is going 100 and when they're not. Right? Like, is there money on the line for these fighters too? So I think when you cross the line there and you get into people's livelihoods, I think that's where it gets personal.
Yeah.
So I think the media is very important. That's how you get your story out. That's how you get to promote yourself and what you put out there, your actions. That's how you get voted on the awards, like I was saying before. It's important, but I think also you gotta realize, like, maybe read the room. They just lost. It was remember Richard Sherman after the NFC title game? I hated that incident so much because he got so much shit for the incident he had in the NFC title game with Aaron Andrews. It's like, bro still has his helmet in his hands and his shoulder pads on. He just made the biggest play of his career against a guy that he don't fuck with. We had heard of all the reports between him and Crabtree. The game just ends. They put a microphone in front of him. Like, Sherm, how do you feel? When you say athletes aren't being themselves, you hate it. Oh, they're not giving us nothing. No substance. When they are themselves, you hate that too. But bro, you got to pick a side, man. Which one do you want? So Trevon Diggs comes off the field. They just lost. They almost came back. They just lost. And he gets asked his question. It's like, yo, kind of read the room, bro.
Yeah.
So I think time and place and situation has to play into the interaction.
For sure. And like the truth is always halfway in the middle for all these things. I always just find it a little, it's tough for me to swallow, bro. Because you know damn well, like, we're not going to go to a football practice, Nick. All right? I'm not going to go sit at a UNLV football practice and study the technique of the position. That's the beauty of MMA, right? But there's a certain point in time in football where you just can't be there anymore, and the only way you could study it is by watching hours upon hours upon hours of film, which some of these people do. And sometimes they ask the toughest questions because they are the best journalists and reporters, and they know what will warrant a headline or a viral clip. Like these journalists these days, especially, I don't know, I think I mentioned it, the Tua press conference before last week's game where he got peppered with 1,000 questions of, hey, are you sure you know what would happen if you got another concussion? You know, like they're going to come at you. They're going to come at you harder than any other questions you've ever been asked before in your life. That's a part of the business, you know, is understanding how to navigate it and not get the media against you. Because, yeah, Trevon Diggs, you're going to need a contract eventually, right? You don't want to be that guy. It's amazing how the Patriots went all those years, right, with Bill Belichick, you know, making that a part of what the franchise does. Understanding the way the media works. Look what happened.
Yeah. You want to keep chaos out of your locker room. You want to keep it all controlled, and you want to be able to have the narrative in your favor. And information changes the narratives all the time. And to your point, bro, you got to be very careful with how you are approaching these conversations with them. But I also think the media and fans can do a better job of how they go about the interaction.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. We've had athletes on the show like, hey, do you get upset when a fan says you suck? They're like, nah, not really, bro. I get upset when they're like, your wife's a bitch, or like, fuck your kids, or whatever crazy shit that these athletes, or especially when, they go to Utah in the NBA and they get fucking racial slurs thrown at them.
Yeah.
That's like, all right, now, like, Habib and Connor. It was all good until he said the religion stuff. He mentioned his wife, and now it's like, bro, I get it. You want to sell the fight. For some people, that's why I always come back to this. Top 5 sporting event of all time, Malice at the Palace. It needs to be studied, it needs to be reviewed, and it needs to be shown before every sporting event on the planet. Because there's some people that they're not going to deal with that. They don't care that they're athletes, and they'll pay the $500K fine to slap the shit out of someone that was talking out of pocket. And you've seen it happen many times.
Fuck, bro, I would. That's what? 20 minutes of being on the court to smack the fuck out of somebody? Oh, that's awesome.
But you got to make it count, though, too.
Oh, yeah. Because if you hit a fan, like, it couldn't have been any better that Ron Artest hit that dude as he was slipping. Like,
oh, yeah.
It was perfect.
So good.
Iconic.
I love that event because, again, there's some people you can't play like that, bro.
Mm-mm.
You cannot play like that. So let us know. I'm fascinated by this conversation as someone that loves the media. We're in the media. We're creating our own content. And it's always a conversation I'm fascinated by when we do talk to athletes and fighters about the levels of heckling. A lot of them use it as motivation, too.
Mm-hmm.
You always hear those stories, too. Like, it's dope to quiet 20,000 people when I hit the game-winning jump shot. Or, you get the strip sack fumble and you shut down a whole Monday Night Football game. So there's also that too. Let us know in the comments. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. George, are you ready for some Week 9 picks?
Yeah, let's go. I'm pretty confident with this week's picks.
Listen, let me tell you this, bro. Now you're not underrated. Now there's expectations.
I know, bro.
You're not on a rookie contract now. You're coming off a monster week. I hope you're feeling the pressure. Look, he's feeling the pressure. If we could get the camera on George. Yeah, now it's like you got to deliver, bro. There's no halfway crooks. You got to go out there now and you got to shine, continue to shine. I'm going to let you lead off and however you want to take it, bro. Ursulita, Adriana, what's the first pick you want to give out?
No, I know. I feel like I'm 7-0 when I'm an underdog, and I feel like when I'm a favorite of 7 or more, I'm like 1-5.
Oh, let's see now. You see now there's expectations.
They're writing articles about it, actually. I just Googled it. They're like, George is hot. Oh, my gosh, she's never felt this before. We're going to start off with Ursulita, though. Give me the nastiest team in the NFL, the team that I've crapped on the most this year. Saints minus 7.5. They get Derek Carr back, and they're playing Carolina. This is a Carolina team that last week, everybody in America was like, I think I got to take them as 10-point dogs to the Broncos. And that clearly didn't work out for you. It doesn't matter what Carolina does here. They got rid of Deontay Johnson. I love Derek Carr for this exact moment. Ursulita, Saints minus 7.5. God, they're going to end up winning by 21. And we're all going to be like, Dennis Allen, he's returned, like he's actually come back to life. But that's going to be the one I start with. Ursulita, Saints minus 7.5.
So are you saying that you like the Saints or you're going to stay away from it?
I like the Saints.
You like the Saints? Okay.
Yeah, in this case, Ursulita, to me, it's so ugly that I got to take it.
You got to take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can I give you some stats?
Mm-hmm.
This one's crazy. This will be the 29th straight game the Carolina Panthers are underdogs, including being an underdog in 38 of the last 39 games. The last time they were a favorite was Week 15 versus Pittsburgh. At the time, Pittsburgh's quarterback was Mitchell Trubisky. They've lost 9 straight games against the spread as a favorite, while every other NFL team has covered at least 3 times as a favorite. Games in which they don't cover, they are not covering the spread by 17.2 points per game.
Wow.
So when you said 21, you're not that far off.
Yeah.
They should lose by 24. If they don't cover the spread, they're going to lose by 24 or more.
Wow.
And remember, this is a rematch from week 1, which was Myers Salida Panthers plus 4.5. And it was, I think, 28-0 when every time they were showing it on Red Zone. It's like the Saints score again. Oh, shit, the Saints score. Or Bryce Young throws a pick. So nasty. But, yeah, that's definitely Ursalita. My Ursalita, this is exactly what Ursalita looks like. Plus 3.5, the New York Giants at home against the Commanders. Who wants to fade Jaden Daniels right now, bro? Hail Mary, 6-2. Where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah.
Right? We always talk about this as far as ownership, front office, head coach, quarterback. They cleaned house. Washington has a new regime over there across the board. Dan Quinn now the favorite for coach of the year, 20-1. You're welcome. Right? Feeling good about that one. Jaden Daniels, basically the rookie of the year. Hell, he's 5th in MVP odds. So everyone's feeling good about this. However, Giants played them in week 3. Giants should have won that game, bro. Graham Gano got hurt. They didn't have a kicker. They were going for it on 4th downs. They were going for 2 because they didn't have a kicker. And Daniel Jones, historically, plays very well against the Commanders. And he also tends to bounce back off losses. He's 21-10 against the spread when he loses. And he's also 6-2 against the spread in his career against Washington. He's 29-32 against everyone else. But he does the Giants, even with Eli Manning, he does very well. And so does Daniel Jones when they play the then Redskins, the Washington football team, or the Commanders. Give me the Giants plus 3.5 as my Ursalita.
We'll stay on that topic because that's my trust me this week, Nick.
Well, is it not the Giants?
Yeah.
Wow.
The trust me is the Giants.
A double agreement.
Here's the thing.
Okay, talk to me.
Here's the thing. I didn't think I can like a defensive line as much as I like a defensive line. But when I watch the Giants play, I'm like, bro, it keeps them in ball games. I mean, I had the Steelers as my Adriana this past week, and it was the Monday night game. And at halftime, when it was a 9-9 dogfight, the only reason it was a 9-9 dogfight was because of that Giants defense. I really do think that Steelers offense is better than people give credit, right? When I was doing the mental comp, I'm like, Steelers offense, Commanders offense. Advantage goes to the Steelers at the quarterback position. I would say even the running back position. I think the Steelers were a better offense. They're going to, struggle. The Commanders, if Jaden Daniels gets hit in those ribs, does he stay in all game? Like, those are the things that make this number as small as it was. It really surprised me how small it was. Based on just all the hype and, what my mental perception of the Commanders is right now. But Vegas has got this right, and I love it. Trust me, Giants, plus 4. They're going to lose by a field goal, but I love it. I love the number. 4 makes me happy. You said you have yours at 3.5.
3.5, yeah.
Is that up to date?
I think I'll be honest, I checked maybe 2 hours ago. So okay. I don't know how recent you saw it. But I think it'll probably get to 4.5.
I mean, even if it's at 3.5, I'm down with it.
Yeah.
I still win with the hook. So that's my trust me. And I know I kind of just jumped in there, so I'll hit you with another one.
Good.
In this economy,
okay,
I'm doing an anytime touchdown this week.
Nice.
Mark Andrews plus 275. He was priced the same as Isaiah Likely, but Deontay Johnson, who was just added to the team, was plus 220 for anytime touchdown. Last week, Mark Andrews gets back into the end zone for the first time, and it seems like forever. And I think it helped trigger this memory in Lamar Jackson's head that hey, this big white dude can really catch the rock. That's why I'm very, very confident in it. The play action pass is going to be the way that this anytime touchdown is scored at plus 275 compared to the rest of the team's anytime touchdown numbers. That's a steal in this economy. Mark Andrews.
I like it. I'm appalled that you said he scored a touchdown for the first time since whenever, when we were literally here on Monday Night Football, and he scored the 2 touchdowns at 35-1, bro. Scored 2 touchdowns Monday Night Football.
That was really what triggered the
so
everlasting
the boy got
effect.
hot.
There we go.
Got hot. Okay,
there we
yeah.
go.
This
My
would be
apologies.
if he does score a touchdown, that'll be 4 straight games that he scored a touchdown. Yes, it seems like, oh, yo, you know what? This guy has been a big part of my success over the last couple of years. I like it. Anytime touchdown, we've been crushing him. Hobie in there. Had him last week. Let me go with in this economy. You ready for this one? Staying with the theme of people scoring touchdowns. The Atlanta Falcons are playing the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have allowed 12 rushing touchdowns, second most in the NFL behind the Panthers. They can't stop the run for shit. They are 32nd in the league in rushing, 31st in the league in rush success rate, so they can't stop it. They don't want to stop it. And in comes Bijan Robinson. We're not going to do the 3-condom approach and just take him to score 1 touchdown. We're going to go 2 touchdowns, Bijan Robinson, plus 700. And guess what?
Wow.
28-1 for the latter.
I really like this, Nick, because they and it could be anything. It's not just rushing touchdowns. They've been going with Tyler Algier a lot down in the red zone, and it irks me. Because this Falcons team does not run the ball in as much as they should have. If I'm not mistaken, they had like 1 rushing touchdown going into like week 5 or week 6.
They do utilize him out the backfield too, which makes me...
No, that's the spot that he will catch a swing pass and make people miss. I'm not worried about that. I'm just saying, God forbid they get into red zone situations and you see fucking Tyler Algier run out there. They use Bijan almost like Darren Sproles, and it bothers me. It's like, make him do more. He was a first-round draft pick. You drafted him 7th. Run his ass into the ground.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I like that comp, actually. That's really interesting. I think this game is going to be a shootout. 2 teams that offensively... actually, I don't know. Now that I think about it, I can't trust the Cowboys. Coming off playing the Niners, too. Sunday Night Football, they'll be playing the Falcons. Actually, you know what? I'm a double down. I think this is gonna be a shootout. 2 teams that can't really stop anyone, and I think Bijan's gonna have a monster game. I think Bijan is gonna validate his selection in fantasy this week. 2 to 3 touchdowns is what I'm expecting. But official pick in this economy: 2 TDs plus 700 for Bijan Robinson. Can I give you my trust me? Which, holy shit, are we on fire? 7-1, trust me.
I know. So this is the one that if you want to listen to Nick, this is it.
Disclaimer.
Okay.
This is if Jordan Love plays.
Oh, well, that's actually good. That's a good preface.
Yeah, because it's important, right? Like, if Jordan Love isn't playing, we feel different about this. The game is outdoors between the Lions and the Packers. Jared Goff outdoors, not a fan of it, even with what they're doing in Detroit. They're coming off back-to-back wins of 30-plus. I think there's going to be some regression. I think Green Bay's defense actually matches up well with Detroit. I think they're going to try to take the running game away and then have Jared Goff beat them outdoors. Right now, you could get it at 3.5. And this is priced as if Jordan Love is going to play. If he doesn't play, it'll probably go to 6. Because remember, we've actually seen Malik Willis in games this year, and he's won games. So it's not like we haven't seen him play. That's really important. And I like, ready for this one? After a straight-up win, LaFleur has performed well with the Packers. His teams are 36-28 against the spread after a straight-up win. They're 24-19 against a straight-up win, against the spread after 2 straight wins. 16-8. When they've won 3 straight games, are they weak the 4th game against the spread. So he improves when he's winning. And when they play good teams, there's the one that I really like. 65% against the spread, Matt LaFleur.
Wow.
And this is a big game for the division, too. It's a very big game.
First place in the North.
Yeah.
And the toughest division in the NFL right now.
And check this one out. Jared Goff against the spread record indoors. Last 4 seasons, 31-10 indoors. On the road, 36-35 against the spread. One game above 500. So I'm definitely going to take the points in division. If I get in division and it's two good teams, I'm going to take the points for the home dog, and that's what I'm taking with the Packers.
It's a game that worries me. Like you see the way the Lions have just manhandled teams, bro, and it's got to worry you. It's got to worry you because, well, it actually shouldn't worry you because if you lose it, it's going to be the way you like to lose bets. Like the Lions will jump out to a.
I don't agree, because they beat the shit out the Titans and the Cowboys. Two teams that are below 500. One team has a chance at the number 1 pick in the draft. The Packers are good, man. I had the Packers winning the NFC. I feel really good about that. I feel very good about that. They weathered the storm when Jordan Love was out. And I think Malik Willis, we talked about that earlier in the year. Young quarterbacks, they go to a new team, fresh start. I like it if he does come in as a spot start. Now, I'm not saying they'll win a Super Bowl with Malik Willis, but in a one-off at home, too, I like that if he does start, he's playing in Green Bay. He's not playing on the road.
Yeah.
I really like the trust me this week, Packers plus 3.5.
On this one, I should listen to you. I'm going to stay away from that game. It's going to be very tough for me to choose a side. Because if Matt LaFleur can scheme up Malik Willis to be good, bro, that team's legit. Had Jordan Love not thrown across his body in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers, they go down and potentially win that ball game. But anyways, we move on to this year. We already hit you with my trust me. Boom, boom. I'm on to my toxic one.
Okay, tell me your toxic one.
A lot of money coming in on the Vikings minus 5.5. Lot of money. Stay away from this game. I promise you.
Sunday Night Football against the Colts.
It's Sunday Night Football against the Colts. And if you have opened up Instagram today, you know that Anthony Richardson is no longer the starting quarterback. I think it was because, we talked about it, Nick, on Monday's show. It was our show specifically, not Anthony Richards' actions that got him benched. But
I agree with you. And also, I put out the video where I said I wish he would have lied. I stand by that.
It would have made him start.
He wouldn't have lost his job. It was a bad look. I think he is done in Indianapolis. I don't think he could go back. I think it's not very similar, but like Deshaun Watson. He can't go back to Cleveland, bro. They booed you at home when your season ended.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, you broke trust with your teammates. Once you break trust with anyone, it's kind of hard to come back for that. You should just move on. And I think that's just how I feel about Anthony Richardson. I think in certain situations, you should lie to protect yourself in that. Like I said, if you didn't watch the video at Nick Dais 10 on my Instagram, you can check that out.
Bro, there's one thing he can do. He's got to run bleachers for a full day. Like he's got to make it like a self-punishment. Because in the NFL, they don't do that shit, right? Like,
nah, bro, you get paid too much money. I ain't running stairs.
That's the only way to earn the respect back, though, bro. He's got to go out there and log roll 1,000 yards. I'm just kidding, bro. There's nothing he can do. It would be, as a quarterback, though, you should try to do something that fucking makes up for that. But anyways, we're not talking about him. I pray to God that he doesn't get thrust into this situation because it would completely ruin this. And the Vikings would win easily if Anthony Richardson was playing quarterback. However, I say that, and my handicap for the Vikings in this game is that Sam Darnold is 5-11 straight up in games played at 4 p.m. Eastern or later, including just 1-3 straight up when listed as the favorite. Yes, you are hearing this. This is almost a Kirk Cousins primetime-esque situation, has manifested its way into Sam Darnold's career. If he doesn't take care of business here and Joe Flacco's old ass beats him on national television Sunday night and the Vikings appear to have serious cracks, I don't know, dude. This is one that you stay away from. It's a bad spot to bet against Flacco with a week of preparation too. It's different when Flacco's coming in as a backup compared to when he's preparing. So, that's my toxic one.
No, I like that one. I even think the Colts could win that game outright.
Mm-hmm.
and then it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco goes in there and they win that game. It's a wrap. Adriana. It's been ugly this year, but I think she's going to be the great girl this week. This is the best Adriana of the week.
Me and you both are on it.
Of the year.
We're both on it, bro.
Remember what we said a couple weeks ago? Josh Allen, when he's at home against shitty teams, he dominates them.
Mm-hmm.
Is Miami a shitty team, George?
Oh, they're so soft, Nick. They're toast. They're a shitty team.
Shitty team, right? Okay. So we have Josh Allen at home against a shitty team, 6-point favorite. Let me throw you this one. In the 7 career games in which Tua and Josh Allen have played each other, Josh Allen is 7-1 straight up, 5-2 against the spread in those games. It's the most profitable quarterback against the spread Josh Allen is in his career. Also, in those 7 games, Josh Allen has scored 26, 32, 48, and 56 points in the home games against Tua, and they covered the spread by 13.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
Adriana, you're back.
You're back. You're hot again.
You're hot again.
You
Hey, listen, Victoria's Secret, thank you. You made me very happy that you brought the fashion show back. We got to see the GOAT, Josh Allen, this year, MVP frontrunner, the favorite preseason pick. You're welcome. He beats the shit out of shitty teams, man. That's what we got this week. Adriana, week 9, Bills -6.
I love it. I love it. I saw Nick. As a matter of fact, when I was typing in these picks, because we have them all in this like note sheet here, I thought that I had typed all my picks on your picks because Bills -6 was already there. It blew my mind. I was like, wait, what the? How did it know that I wanted to type that? The thing that throws me off about this game,
Okay.
and I know it's in division, the Bills are one of the most dominant teams in the NFL, and Vegas does not treat them like they are. It blows my mind, bro, because there's no reason this game should not be 8.5 to 9. And then if I'm being truthfully honest with how bad the Dolphins are, it could be even more than that.
Yeah.
Could be in the double digits. This is if the Bills follow Vegas and they see that the number is 6, they should feel sick to their stomachs. They know they're better than that number. They might beat the Dolphins by 30 here, and that should finally garner the respect that they deserve the rest of the year. This might be the one of the lower numbers that you see the Bills be favorited by moving forward. Like they're that good.
Nah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you on that one. I'm liking Buffalo more and more every week. Been looking at their Super Bowl odds, maybe like 10 to 1 in some places. It's been interesting. Last one in the picks for me, the toxic one. Stay away from that Chiefs game.
Yeah.
The 9-point favorites on Monday Night Football. Just be very careful. The Chiefs. How about this? I mean, I kind of buried the lead there, but you know who has the most interceptions since the start of last season?
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Would you have ever guessed that?
No.
No chance, right?
No, I would have guessed
My boy.
Josh Allen. No, not after the year.
My boy Daniel.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mahomes has 23, Sam Howell 21, Jordan Love 20. I just don't bet on Mahomes when he's more than a 3-point favorite. I want Mahomes under a field goal, and as an underdog, I will take out a bank loan to bet on him in those situations. As a favorite, I'm not doing it. So those are your picks for week 9. Ursulita for me is Giants plus 3.5. In this economy is Bijan Robinson to score 2 touchdowns plus 700. Trust me is the Packers at 3.5. Toxic one is the Chiefs -9. Adriana, the hottest one of the year, Bills -6. What do you got?
Ursulita, Saints -7.5. In this economy, Mark Andrews plus 275 for an anytime touchdown. Trust me is the Giants +4. The toxic one this week, stay away from Vikings -5.5. And then Adriana, man, she's a Bill. Can you imagine Adriana? Adriana Lima has never been to Buffalo, New York.
I'd probably make that like -400 to no. She's never been.
Well, she'll be there this weekend.
Let's go.
She'll be there this weekend, bro.
Yeah. Shout out Anchor Bar. Shout out to 716. Okay, let's do Patreon before we bring on our guest. Big ups to the members of the Patreon. Remember, this is the last couple of days. We'll give you until Friday to join the Supermax and the franchise tag tiers on Patreon to be eligible for the helmet signed by the one and only Maurice Clarett, Ohio State icon. Daniel Gibson, Mahul Patel, Abel Rezin, Ben Kotzian, Christopher Velasquez, Derek Platees, Devin Rendon, Dylan Chadwick, Jerry Shapiro, Jordan Riley, Mike Stevens. Shout out to Mike Stevens. Just read up for the year. Big ups to Mike Stevens. Nick Crummich, Thomas Robinson. Thank you all for your contributions. Patreon.com/veterans minimum. All right, joining us now is a dude, George, who shows a lot of love on TikTok to us, has reshared a lot of our content. Him and I connected over the summer, and we finally got him on the show. Ross is Boss on TikTok. You are a Vegas. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to try and pronounce the word that he said. I wrote it down, and I can't even say it.
I got you.
How would you describe what you do?
I'm a Vegas connoisseur.
That's not the word. Don't do that to me. Don't. No.
Connoisseur still is big.
That is a nice one, too.
I said I'd like to demystify Vegas and the casino experience for, people who visit Vegas.
Demystify. I'll be honest. Never heard that word before today.
It's a great word.
Yeah.
Because as he was like, Nick was like, I don't know really what you're trying to say to me here. And then Ross explains it, and I'm like, man, demystify was the perfect word. He went on like a 3-minute explanation. Yeah. Demystify said it all.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That was good. I like it. I learned. I'm going to add that to the 27 words that I do know. And I'll be running with that. Dude, what brings you to Vegas?
Man, I'm just here. I love Vegas. Like, I've been coming here forever. I've been coming here for 20 plus years, and like, I still get excited every time, I get in the plane and we're descending and like.
So you were loving what I was saying earlier on the show totally, when you see the Welcome to Las Vegas sign.
That's why I love creating content, because I'm like, dude, I still get excited the night before I come to Vegas. Like, I still get excited when I'll sit and I hate the first seat in the planes because you have to, put everything overhead. When I come to Vegas, I sit on the first seat so they can get off the plane that much faster. It's just like, I just want to like get there, touch down, and get to the hotel, plan everything out. I just love it so much.
Now, you said you've been coming to Vegas for 20 years.
Yeah, a little more actually.
What would you say the biggest change has been to Vegas? Because I've been coming to Vegas since 2013 when I turned 21.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was 22 when I came, right? I'll be 34 in March. So yeah, I was 22 when I first came. George is born and raised in Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's a cool little dynamic here of like, I'm a New Yorker, born and raised. I moved out here 2 years ago, just visiting constantly, degenerate host shit with my friends. George is born and raised here, like I said, and you've been coming here for a very long time.
Yeah.
Give me the biggest change that you would say.
I think it's just, it's gotten better and better in my opinion. But yeah, when I first started coming out here, it was still kind of the holdover of the family friendly era where they were, trying to target families. And it was like, they had, MGM had a lazy river and like they had like a show that was a Wizard of Oz show. And like, it was fine. It wasn't my cup of tea. And I really love like where we've gotten to now, because it's, it's just focused on like just giving you the best experience, the best gambling experience, the best food, best entertainment. And I forgot, I actually brought you guys gifts.
Oh, whoa. Look at this guy.
Rush, this is question 2.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know. Well,
thank you.
I know. Well, I figured I should get them in now. So in true gambling fashion, I've got one gift in each hand. Do you guys want to pick?
Oh, shit. Wow, this is great.
You could go first, bro.
Okay.
It's been a good week. It's been a good week for George.
I'm going to go left because I'm a lefty.
He's going left because he's a lefty.
You can take it and you can look at it. And I'm going to tell you there's one in each. There's something in each hand. Okay. And you can decide if you want to keep it or switch.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to keep this.
Okay.
All right.
I am going to keep this.
You're going to keep that one?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to make my way over.
Wow. In true Vegas fashion.
All right.
Wow, I really hope I didn't fuck myself here.
Whoa.
I fucked myself here, bro. I literally.
This is crazy.
Ross.
I should have bought merch. Wow, this is awesome, man. For real?
Oh yeah, my pleasure. Figured we'd start off with a bang.
Yeah, no, this is a bang. This is a bang. Now can we reveal?
Yeah, please do.
Ross was kind enough. I got $100 chip.
Nice.
What you get?
I'm gonna give you some.
No.
I'm gonna give you some. Yeah.
No, what is it?
500.
What the fuck, Ross?
Now, hold on.
You had the
yeah,
choice.
how did we get here?
Stop.
Yes,
Listen.
you're right.
Look me in the eyes. All right.
We always say yes.
No. If the roles were reversed,
Yeah.
would you have given me?
The 500?
No, not the whole 5. Would you have given me like some?
Some?
I'm gonna give you some. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
No, you fuck.
No, well, no. But the fact that you're not saying we're splitting this half and half is like, you're not a good guy either. You're not like, you're acting like you're Mr. fucking innocent over
I'm
here.
a piece of shit
He
too.
said, you'll have some. You'll not half.
So hey,
you'll have
some could be like $12.
I swear to God, look at him. Oh my God, this dude. Wow.
Dude, I appreciate
Ross,
this, man.
thank
This
you.
is
Oh, yeah.
cool, you know.
Yes.
Listen, fans, friends, guests of the show. We'll accept shirts, we'll accept hats, we'll accept whiskey.
Yep.
We'll always prefer.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I was
We'll
thinking, I
always
was like,
prefer.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
thank you very much,
yeah,
man. This
my
is really
pleasure.
cool. I
You
appreciate it.
gamble it too, you know. That's the great thing about it. See,
Oh,
if,
yes.
see if you get out of here without gambling it. But
Oh, there's no
I was
chance.
like, all right, what could I bring? I could bring whiskey, cigars, wine, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I know Nick's into jujitsu, maybe you don't drink, and I was like, the one thing that everybody likes, some Vegas chips. And it's funny because the Wynn chips look kind of fake too. I could tell you weren't sure if it was real or
yeah,
not.
no. At first, because I've never played table
Yeah.
games here, so I looked at it. I was like,
Yeah.
this one
It was
chip
like
is a
from
little.
the gift shop.
It's seen better days.
So
This
dude,
win
let
chip.
me ask you a question. As
Yeah.
someone that lives in Vegas, and then I would love to get your response too, Ross. I get this interaction from all my friends. I just recently came back from New York, and I went out with my buddy Chris, and we went out to dinner in the city, and I met a bunch of his friends that I didn't know. But they're like super successful guys, and they're like, dude, how do you live in Vegas? If I lived in Vegas, I'd be dead in a week.
Right.
Or like I wouldn't be able to. And I'm like, guys, we're in Midtown Manhattan right now. We're not exactly from fucking Boise, Idaho. Shout out to Idaho. You know, they're always the punching bag on this joke. But we live in a cool city, right? Did you growing up have that temptation of gambling, or were you just immune to it because you're around it so much?
Of course I had the temptation, Nick. I grew up around, like, my family was a whole bunch of blackjack dealers, poker dealers. Like, my dad was a pit boss for a while at some
Your
of the
dad definitely checks
Pit
the
boss
box
vibes.
of pit boss.
If he looks
Yeah.
like you, like I could definitely see.
Oh yeah, no,
Pit
I'm a
boss vibes.
spitting image of my father.
Yeah.
So yeah, put me in a fucking suit and I'll manage a little section. Yeah, he raised me on this stuff, bro, and they were always cautious of like, all right, it's not is he going to gamble? It's when do we let him start to gamble type of situation, bro. My grandma would play slots at Albertsons, like, or at the 7-Eleven because the D-gen is in the Cuban blood for sure.
Oh yeah.
Having a good time, especially.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Well, you have self-control because you just said something that was revealing. You guys, so this podcast is recorded in the Wynn, which is amazing. It's a beautiful studio. And you just said, I've never played table games at the Wynn. So you have some discipline because you're walking past those games every day or every time you're in here. So like you've figured out how to exist in Vegas, it feels like.
Yeah, and there's a person by the name of Bill Krakenberger that is kind of conditioned my brain to go, when you are playing table games in Las Vegas, there is the mindset of I'm having fun, and then there's the mindset of I'm going to war with the casino, and I'm more so tired of just having fun.
Yeah.
And like I like to have some strategic type knowledge to go to war and to, make it an event, right? So yeah, and I also just very rarely am I coming in with like a cash flow that is going to make me like feel super happy at the end of the night. It's not like hitting an 8-leg parlay and being like, oh my God, I was sitting on my couch all day. This is awesome. It's like, all right, if you want to win this money, you're going to be at a table and you're gonna be going through the fucking taking the punches, the ups and the downs, and bro, like I don't know, I'm not necessarily a fan of that.
Yeah.
More so a fan of the sports, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you're smart.
What about you?
What's your experiences with the table games, or, you've been to Vegas, like you say, you've been coming for 20 years. You come here often.
Yeah.
What's the feedback you get from friends back home when they see you going? Are they shocked that you come back with all your limbs intact?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that. You do have to have like, I don't want to even say a system because that makes it sound like there's like a way to beat the casino. It's more like you have to have self-control and you have to put in, systems in place to be like, this is what I'm going to gamble. Like, these are the times I'm going to gamble. Like, I was talking about this with a buddy of mine. It's like, when you come to Vegas, like, you have to have a strategy.
Mhm.
You cannot just like be like, oh yeah, like maybe we'll go to dinner at like 7:00 and like, I don't know, I'll go down and like hit the tables for a bit. It's like, dude, you will get crushed if you just go to the tables at like, 10 in the morning and you're like, I'll just play for a couple hours. It's like, dude, you can't do that. It's like, so for me, like the way I kind of build my trips is like, I start with the dinner because that's like, I know I want to go to like the best restaurants and like have a great meal. So I'm like, all right, if I want to eat dinner at like, 8:00, like after dinner is time to gamble. And then I build the itinerary backwards from there. So I'm like 8:00 dinner. So then that means like we leave the hotel at 7:30. We have drinks and cocktails at 6. Then there's like the daytime activity, which is like you want to go like golfing, or you want to go to the pool, and that's something that you do from like 12 to 4. And it's like you plan out all that stuff so that you don't have that idle time where you just get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
And you'll have a much more fun trip because all those like things you're going to be like, oh man, it was so fun when we were at the pool. Oh, dinner was amazing. So like you're going to have all those great memories no matter what, even if you like win or lose. And if you win, like after dinner, it's a cherry on top. If you're losing, just go to bed,
Yeah.
But like that's after years of like getting, of learning the hard way where it's just like, and that was back when I was like broke, when you're like 20, 21 and you're like, all right, I got like $200 and it's like, and it's gone. And you're like, shit, I have 72 more hours here.
Yep.
So yeah, you definitely build those strategies.
Bro, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I'm thinking about like all the times I came to Vegas, and I've had, I know a lot of people say this, but every time I left Vegas, I always left with money because I was a huge Texas Hold'em player.
Yeah.
Like I used to play the online shit back in the day. I turned $250 gift card for Christmas. By April, I turned it into $11,200, and then Black Monday hit, and all the online accounts like shut down.
Yeah.
So I lost all my money. I was telling my grandma and my fucking mom, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be an online poker player now." Like, that's how like all in I was on this.
I was so into,
dude. I was just playing $20 sit and goes,
Yeah.
and I turned that $250, George,
That's insane.
into over 11,000, right? So every time I would come to Vegas, I would have two budgets:
Mm-hmm.
partying and dinners and food and just like survival.
Yeah.
And then like I'm a gamble too.
Right.
I love it, right?
Yeah.
I'll never not do it.
Yeah.
Clearly what the content is about, right? But and I would never mix and match. If I won 2K gambling, I wouldn't now take it like, oh, let's get a bottle at the club or whatever it might be.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm going to keep this separate.
Yeah.
What I would do is when I would have a crazy run, if I came to Vegas with $1,000 to gamble, I'll take that 1,000, I'll put it in my suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, now I really got house money.
Yeah.
And I did a very good job, maybe 3 trips in, of like discipline.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give you another tip and build off of that. So when you're putting the money aside, another thing that I say to always do is always charge everything to your room, right? Because one, to make sure that you get like tier credits for it and points for it. If you buy a water bottle from the gift shop, charge it to the room, you'll get like points for it, right? But you go to dinner, right? You go with a group of friends, you spend, $500, $1,000, and you'll get all points for that. But the other thing I do is like what you were saying, when you're up, right? If you're up in the middle of a trip and you're charging everything to the room, when you go back, to go to bed at night, stop by the front desk and be like, what's the bill on my room at? They're like, oh, it's $600. And you're like, I'm up 1,200. Pay down the $600 right then. And now you're like even on the room, right? So when you leave, at the worst case, if you go and you lose all your money back, you're like, hey, at least I paid for the trip while I had the money. Because there's nothing more frustrating than being like, I was up, and then you check out, you lost everything. You check out and they're like, all right, your room total is $1,200, and you're like, dude, I could have paid that in the middle of the trip.
Yeah, wow. I
So,
like this.
so if you do that,
I
not
like
only are
this a
you
lot.
getting the points, so you're getting the comps, but then, if you have some discipline, like you were saying, pay it off in the middle of the trip. And then, hey, if you're like, hey, I lost the gambling money, you're like, whatever, I put it towards the room and we're good.
Yeah. And also, I want to be very transparent. This wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
Right? Like there was, dude, I'll never forget one time I came to Vegas. I think it was 2016. It was the Euro Cup. And I remember I bet England to win the Euro Cup. I had bought $1,000. I put a future on them, right? So I spent $1,000 on the future. That was a separate, like, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to bet this. I went halves with my dad on it. And then I lost the $1,500 I bought to gamble because I got hammered after Wet Republic and I played roulette. And I'm a big one spin and go guy.
Yeah.
Because of this. Because of this, right? Like, I was like, oh, I got this strategy. I'm going to bet everything by green. And full disclosure, if you have a strategy in roulette, I think you're an idiot. I don't think there is a strategy.
No.
The longer you're at the table, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
One time, my buddy Josh was at the table for like 4 hours. He knew everyone's name. I was like, it's time to go. We got to get you the fuck out of here if you know everyone's name at the table. They rotated through 3 different dealers. He knew all of them. Oh, yo, he's from Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, we got to go, right? So I had lost $1,500 before I even checked into my room.
Yeah.
And now I have the $1,500 for dinner and partying. I had to mix and match. And then before you know it, I owe one of my friends like $1,200, but I'll get you when I get home. Right?
I know.
Mind you, I'm making $500 a week at the time. So I was like, I'm flipping those eggs and making coffees. I'm like, fuck, I got to pay for that fucking
You're
party.
just paying it off.
Yeah. So it took a while, but to your point, like that's very important because when you come to a casino or you come to Vegas or you go anywhere, Atlantic City, wherever you might be, if you budget out your money, it's hard for you to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Because I think of it as when I bring this money on this trip, I'm expecting to come back with zero.
Right.
Because I'm going here to spend $2,000-$3,000 for the 4 days I'm here.
Right.
And I want to have fun. It's the one at the time, it was the one trip a year I was taking. All my childhood friends, we were going and having a good time in Vegas. Cool. If I would come home with $300, I was like, yo, I got some money coming home, George.
Right.
So it's very important, in my opinion, what I tell everyone. I'm like, yo, have a gambling budget, have a nightlife and food budget. To your point, I love going out to a fancy dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Any trip I do with my friends, it's like, yo, at least one night, let's throw on some suits. Let's get nice and fly. Let's look good. We'll take a nice group photo.
Yeah.
Every group photo my friends and I have, it's only at dinners because everything else is just a madhouse. So I do like that, but it did take a while.
And another thing to build on that, another tip is like when you have those separate budgets, the best thing you can do is you plan those daytime non-gambling activities. So whether it's the pool or golf or you want to go drive race cars or whatever, pay for it in advance if you can. Because one, that guarantees that you'll actually do it. Because to your point, Nick, it's like how many times have you had the friend who's like, oh yeah, we're going to go to the pool. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then they're like, oh shit, I lost all my money. And they're like, you know what? I'll just pull from this budget. I'll try to win it back. So if you can pay for it ahead of time, you've got it locked in. You know you're going to have a great time, and it's going to save you. Like people will be like, oh, I don't want to spend $200 and go to the pool. It's like, dude, this $200 you're spending at the pool, one, you're going to have an awesome time, but you're guaranteed not to lose $2,000 playing blackjack during the middle of the day. So that's like, another thing. If you can do that, your trips will be that much better.
You growing up in Vegas, were you coming to nightlife, pool parties? You ever do that shit?
No. So the Mandalay Bay, I guess, had one event that we went to that was at their little beach outing. The thing that my family liked to do when we did staycations was go to the Golden Nugget because they have the pool that has the water slide that goes through the shark tank. Mm-hmm. So as a 12-year-old, like
that was...
Dog, come on now. Were you just going up and down all day long?
That was the main event.
It was fun. It was fun. And Fremont Street to me is like the one thing that as a Vegas local, I have loved to see the evolution because it went from like you did not want to be downtown to I would say close to $1 billion, if not more, dollars was invested into that area.
Yep.
And then it has literally, it's my favorite place to go.
Oh, bro.
I'll go downtown Fremont over the strip all day. I don't care how fucking poor that makes me sound. I just feel like that's where the most life and authentic energy is.
There was an interesting stat that just came out that I saw. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't want to misquote it. But I think the year-over-year numbers on the Strip was like a 3% uptick in gambling from September September last year. Downtown Fremont, it was up 33%.
Wow.
So I think,
That's crazy.
one, to your point, a lot of people are like, you know what, there's value down here. I love it. And I think other people, maybe they're getting a little squeezed and they're like, you know what, shit's expensive. Let's just like the people who are going to stay at like New York or Flamingo on their Strip, they're like, yeah, let's go to the Golden Nugget,
Mhm.
So it's interesting,
Yeah, I was going to say, you follow it a lot closer than I would. What hotels down here offer the best comps or promos or points, like you were saying earlier?
It's tough. It's funny because like the murmurings like out there now is like everyone's like they don't do it like they used to. They're everywhere is so tight and like they're so cheap. And like, but they're out there and it kind of fluctuates. So I'll give you an example. I mean, 40% of the Strip is MGM, the other 40 is Caesars, and then there's some off
The Win.
Yeah.
The outliers, right?
The Win,
Yep.
Resorts World, Fontainebleau, Treasure Island. So actually, and I actually don't play there that much, but like a lot of people say that Treasure Island has been trying to like bring in players with some great comps, in part because the Mirage shut down right next door. So they were kind of going after those players and being like, hey, if you had trips booked there, come over here. We'll hook you up with some good comps. Fontainebleau, I've heard that they started off a little, I don't want to say stingy, but they it didn't seem like they were really like trying to pull in players. And then recently, I've talked to a bunch of people who have booked trips there, and they're like, yeah, like I kind of let them know what type of player I am. I'm bringing this much money, and they gave them nice rooms and suites and stuff. So like I think it's really what you see is like the independent places kind of push and pull on the the MGM and the Caesars, and they all have to kind of react to one another. And
Mhm.
that's like why Vegas is so amazing. It's like peak free market capitalism where everybody has to compete and everybody's trying to suck the dollars out of your wallet, but in order to do that, they have to give you a great experience. So I mean, that's why Vegas is the best place in the world.
Yeah, it's some of my favorite stories are when people are up big, like you're explaining, at an MGM property, and then they want to transfer their funds to a Caesars property, and then that phone call game that these people behind the scenes are making, like, all right, we have like $2.5 million here. He wants to go over to your property. Yeah, it's wild the amount of money behind the scenes that is worked around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what you said about Fremont. When I go out in Vegas, I think I go to Fremont more than coming to the Strip.
Mhm.
I'm at the Win 5 nights a week.
Right.
So I don't get excited. I don't want to come here when I'm not supposed to.
Mhm.
It's like,
Right.
fuck, I got to go to where I work. I hate doing the walk of the Strip when people come to visit. That blows. Do
It's
not
long.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit is not fun. It's cool like when you do it one time and you're like, I'm not doing this again. Right. I don't like it. I love going to my favorite steakhouse in Vegas, Barry's Steakhouse.
Yeah.
That's at Circa in Fremont. I tell so many people, I'm like, yo, it's amazing. You can go over there. It's not as crowded. Like Fremont isn't as crowded as like the Strip is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty not low key because like Circa's there and Circa's awesome, especially if you're a sports fan. Like you got to go to Stadium Swim.
Yeah.
You got to go to the sports book there. It's awesome. So like a lot of cool spots in Fremont. I like doing the walk there. The Fremont Freaks get to see a lot of crazy shit over there. It's always a fun time.
Come on now.
So I would say
been playing the drums for the last 25 fucking years.
yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you
So I enjoy going on like a Saturday night, might go with some of the guys from the gym and just like walk Fremont. That's as much as I like doing in Vegas. What would someone comes to Vegas for the first time?
Yep.
Give me the Ross sort of trip you would put together for them.
Yeah, so I would say again, like I always go back to the dinners because one, it's like the really good restaurants, and again, like everybody will say that restaurant's shit or that
Right.
but like popular restaurants, you got to make a reservation, and you got to do it in advance, especially if it's on a busy night. So you don't want to just show up here and be like, oh crap, I'm trying to get in somewhere like an hour before. So one of my favorite restaurants on the Strip is Carbone, which is like amazing Italian food. New York,
Yeah, of
Jersey
course.
style.
Yep.
So I would do dinner at Carbone. It's funny. I actually like walking the strip, but in the morning, like listening to podcasts and stuff. So I always like start my day, like do a long walk down the strip, listen to some podcasts, get caught up on content or whatever. And then I would do like, like, so get out there, walk, clear your head. And then I would say, do like a Top Golf or something like that, which is like, again, it's not a lot of money. You can hang out with the boys, like just like shoot the shit. You don't have to be a great golfer or anything. You can just take some swings. You can bet on who's going to win or not. So I would do that in the afternoon, and then, kind of make my way back to the hotel, maybe, grab a drink or two before dinner, make my way down to Carbone, have an awesome meal, and then I would plan to do some, gambling after dinner. And if you want to gamble like in between things, like go for it. But like I said, man, I know I'm going to have an amazing day from start to finish. And then afterwards, like, when you're all sitting down at dinner and you're stuffed and you're drinking some Fernet to like cleanse the palate, and then you're in a monologue, it's like,
Let's go make this motherfucker money, baby.
it's like you're like, let's do this, and it's like you pull the jacket, and it's like this is the moment, like everybody knows, like, it's like the moment we've waited for, and like the perfect night. It's like if you win, I mean, then you just had the best day in Vegas from start to finish, and if you lost, hey, at least you still had a great day.
Yeah. That's a really great way of breaking down Vegas. Like, that's one of the better day breakdowns that I've ever heard of Vegas. Because it's true. You have to, almost in a way like a show, you build to a crescendo of like just something that could be magical, or even if it's not magical, you at least had a good day to suffice the losses.
Right.
I would even say like, yo, don't gamble as much.
Yeah.
Like maybe do that. So what my friends and I would do is we would arrive Thursday morning in Vegas, leave red eye Sunday night to go back to New York.
Yep.
So Thursday night would always be, Thursday during the day, we'd hit a pool party. Mind you, we're coming in June and July, right? We land Thursday, straight to a pool party. Then we'll come back, we'll shower. Some people will go gamble.
Yeah.
But it'd be like, yo, we're leaving at 7, 8 o'clock. We're going to go get dinner, right? That was always our Thursday. Friday, we would either decide between a nightclub or a day club again. We would usually do the day clubs. I'm more day club. I feel like the vibe is different. Like I very rarely, but like also I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, how when you're at a day club, you're at a pool, it's hard to kind of flaunt what you have. You're in your fucking swim trunks.
Right.
So like how expensive are swim trunks? Where like if you're out and you're not going to wear your AP or your Cartier watch, that's like 20, 30,000. It kind of limits the playing field. Where it does separate you is like, you got to be in shape too, right? Like I used to come to Vegas. I'm like, fuck, I got to start doing some sit-ups when I go back home.
Yeah.
But at nighttime, I feel like that vibe is so different because everyone's in their suit. They got their watches, their jewelry and shit. And it seems to be more like ego driven. So I always preferred the day clubs. It was kind of my vibe, right? Yeah. And then, you'd leave at 5, go take a nap. And then we do another dinner Friday night.
Yeah.
Saturday, whenever we would come here, we loved Wet Republic. We would always do Wet Republic Saturday.
Nice.
And after that, Saturday night and Sunday, that's when we're gambling. Sunday, some friends wanted to go to shooting ranges. Others wanted to go drive exotic cars. Like Sunday, we're going to, you want to go shoot some guns? Yeah. Do you want to go drive these like Lamborghini? Yeah. So like people would go with their clique and they'd go do that. And then Sunday was when I would sit down. Like I almost missed my flight one time because I was on a heater playing poker and I almost made a final table for a $400 buy-in for that like day tournament. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna miss my flight. If I make final table, it's minimum $5,000 I'm gonna win. Like I'll miss my flight for $5K.
Yeah.
And I ended up 11th. So I just missed the cutoff and I just got to the airport to catch the flight. God. So it was like fucking running on thin ice. But that's kind of the thing. Like I like having a plan similar to you because I'm a big planner, bro.
Yeah,
I don't like going on a whim. I'm into it if like it pops up organically, but I need to know I have something to look forward to.
My original trips, like I was just thinking about it when we were talking, like it used to be like when I was like 21, 22 and just completely broke with no plan. I would fly from Boston. You take like a 7 o'clock flight and you would land at like 11, local time. And by the time you get to the hotel, it'd be like midnight. and we were so broke, and we were staying at like the Flamingo and like places that are like $28 a night.
Yeah,
We had, like
yeah.
no, we were like we're gonna be so excited when we get to Vegas. We're not gonna pay for a hotel room that first night, and we would just stay up all night until the sun came up, just doing whatever. And then we'd be like, maybe we can check in at 11 a.m. We'd walk up and be like, oh, we're here to check in, and we're just like, oh, totally just like blown out. That to me is like my nightmare now. Like if someone was like, that's what we're going to do, I'd be like, dude, that is my nightmare. I cannot do that. But back then it was fun,
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
excited,
Yeah.
man, for sure. Like, I get it. I never did anything crazy like that. What we would do on Sundays is we would book a room at like the Luxor or the MGM for like less than $100 on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And we would just have 12 to 20 guys just put all our luggage in there, keep it in the room. And then that's when we would go and do all our fun stuff
idea.
on Sunday. This way we had a place not to worry about, concierge or anything like that.
Facts.
Are you guys into like strip clubs? No one mentioned strip clubs. That's very popular out here. There's a bunch of them.
Ross, you take this question.
They are very popular. It's not my thing.
It's not on your itinerary for
It's not-
trip planning.
I think for me, like that's like maybe after you've been here for a week and you've done everything else,
Mm.
but it's not something I create content on, so I am not an expert on that topic.
Demystify strip clubs is in your future.
Maybe
Maybe Nick can demystify
Yeah.
strip clubs for us
Maybe-
right now.
I'll be honest. Ross has a ring on his finger, so he's trying to protect his family. And I know you're with someone serious. I am not, so I can't get in trouble. I'm pro strip clubs. I like it. I think it's a good time. I'm getting a fist pump from Isaiah as Antoine puts his head down. We'll cut that one out for Antoine. I'm down, man. I think it's fun. I think they're a good time. The stripper does not like you. Number one, very important. I think they're the best salespeople on the planet.
Yeah.
You can get very successful people to do dumb shit. I've seen it. I've also experienced it. Right? Discipline. I learned from my mistakes. The stripper does not like me. But it's a very attractive strippers in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, there's
Like
there's
it's like
high quality out there.
This is D1.
Yeah.
Somewhere in New York and other places, it's like D3 junior college level. So there's levels to it, and I'm a fan. It's fun.
Just know that the best strippers all over the world come to Vegas. They fly in Friday night and they leave Sunday night or Monday morning. That's Steph.
Yeah, I mean, when I fly from LA, I'll be with my wife and she'll be like, "Oh, look at all these nice
Look at all
ladies."
these UGG slippers and leggings.
And hoodies,
Yeah.
and hoodies just
Yeah.
like walking by. Yeah, bro. There was one time I left a strip club when the sun came up, and I remember being like, I don't think I've ever felt dirtier.
Mm.
I was like, I feel gross, bro.
Just a film on you.
Just like leaving the strip club and the sun is up. That's when you're like, yo, all the dumb shit I've done in my life, this trumps it. This is number one. Just leaving the strip club at that time. But it's a good time though, bro. I enjoy
Best
it.
one.
I enjoyed Crazy Horse. Fun fact, I haven't been to a strip club since I moved here because I feel like this would get crazy. Similar to what we were talking
Yeah.
about before.
Yeah.
If I was going to strip clubs every weekend, be ridiculous,
Yeah.
right? But when I would come to visit, that was on my
was on the
itinerary. Yeah. Just
That was on the Nick itinerary.
Gotta go see
dude, I remember
Samantha.
one time I won I hit back-to-back numbers on roulette.
Nice.
And I had about like $4,200 in cash. And I wore white linen pants with a white button down. Pablo Escobar flow. And
Cooking Cowboys.
I go into the strip club and one of my friends is like, yo, can I get $400? I'll give it to you in the room. Bro, I did this. I took my money out. Vultures. They fucking engaged 8 all-out blitz. And it was just like, the one girl spoke to me. I heard the Spanish accent. I was like, I don't even want to hear anything else. I'm in. I just gave her $100. I do have a weakness. So, yeah, it's the strip clubs. I would recommend it. Just know they don't like you.
They don't
Very
they don't
important.
Not like you either, though. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. But you can get them to like you if you throw them some money.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick, you were part of an elite crew leaving the strip club at the sunrise. As Ross was going to take his morning Vegas walk,
I-
listening to podcast, he sees the filth escaping Crazy Horse.
That is an interesting time in Vegas, that time of day, because it's like people at conferences who are running and like, you know, they're working out, and then it's Nick, you know, stumbling out of the strip club, like oh, what happened, man?
Yeah.
So
What's the most wild, or I guess craziest run you've been on in Vegas?
I think one of the ones I was most proud of was that when I was playing craps, I threw for like over an hour, and I hit I don't know if you guys know what a fire bet is in craps, which is basically, so there's 6 numbers in craps, so there's 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and the object of the game of craps is to basically throw that number and then throw that number again before you throw a 7, right? So a fire bet is when you hit 5 of those numbers. So throw the number, hit the number, throw the number, hit the number, 5 of them, and then 6 is like the final one, and all without throwing a 7, right? And the bet pays 5,000 to 1 if you bet the fire bet, because it's such a sucker's bet, because it's like so hard to do,
Right.
And then 10,000 to 1 if you hit 6. So, and most people would throw like $1. They don't really do fire bets here anymore, but most people would throw like $1 because they're like,
Right.
whatever, I'll win $1,000, you know. I was throwing, and I walked up to the casino. I walked up to the table before I was about to go to bed, and it was just an empty craps table. And sometimes I just like throwing by myself for a little while because the game goes fast. So I walked up to the craps table, and I was like, I'll put $10 down on the fire bet. Like, that's the max you can actually put.
Right.
And then I proceeded to just throw, you know, number after number. And the thing about craps is if you hit a fire bet, you made so much money in between because you're winning every
progressively.
every point.
It's stacking on top of each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
So I hit the 5-point fire bet, which was $5,000 on top of everything else I was winning. And then I was on the last point, the 6, so the 8, the number was 8, which is an easy number to hit. And I did not get it.
Oh my gosh.
But I got, you know, it was like over
Yeah.
like $15,000 at that point because I had hit so many points.
That's amazing.
And I got the $5,000 5-point fire bet. So someday I aspire to get the 6 points, but that was like my most proud. And I was like, all right, everybody, like, I'm going to bed. And they were like, no, you got to throw again. We'll pass you. I'm like, dude, I'm going to bed. I'm walking away a winner. This was like amazing. And, you know, I had a great time. But you know, what's funny about Vegas is that like, you're always chasing, you know, like those feelings. But I always think back to my first trip to Vegas when I was 21 years old. I turned 21 like 2 days before, and it was a wedding. My parents had some younger friends who were getting married later in life, and they were like flying everybody out to go to Vegas to get married. And they were like, hey, does Ross want to come? He's going to be 21 like when we get married, and it's going to be 2 days after he turns 21. I was like, fuck yeah. You know? So I was just like blown away. So we go to the wedding at like one of the little chapels. I'm wearing like a shitty oversized JCPenney suit, like, you know, Nick Papagiorgio from Vegas Vacation. And I walk into a casino, and I'd never placed a bet before. And I was like, roulette, like you just pick numbers, right? So I had $10 in my pocket, and I throw it on the table. Like, you know, I give it to the lady, like, no, you can't give it to me. These are all the things that I talk about now. Anyway, she's like, she gives me 2 red chips. And I'm like, damn, I only get 2 bets out of this, you know, for $10.
Yeah.
That's all my money. So I put 1 down on 33 because I'm a Celtics fan from Boston, Larry Bird. I put one $5 chip down on 33, and she points to the sign, $10 minimum. I'm like, fuck, I gotta bet all my money. So I put down the $10, spin the wheel, hits 33 black.
Of course it does.
Wow.
Dude, I always talk about this. I want you to continue the story. The first bet you make, you're going to hit it.
Yeah.
It happened to me when I was 7 years old. I'll never forget. I got a parlay card from my uncle. He's like, yo, pick 4 games. I wasn't a football fan at the time. I picked 4 games, won. The next week he came back, gave me money. I was hooked ever since.
Yeah. So, you know, $350, which might as well be like 30,000 to me at that time. You know, it was like, dude, like you would back then, you know, you working like some shitty minimum wage job, you take home like $230 after 2 weeks of work, you know, so like $350. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And I was just like, and then the coolest thing after that was like, so a cocktail waitress walks up to me and says like, sir, would you like a cocktail? And I was like, I don't have any money, you know, like I don't have any cash. Like I was like, I don't have any money. And she's like, sir, it's complimentary with your play. And I was like, oh my God. Like
Vegas
like,
is the greatest.
It was like the gates of heaven opened up and like shined down on me. You know that song that they used to play? You were like talking about World Series of Poker. It was like a big and rich song where it was like when I walk into the room passing out $100 bills. Like it was like that song was like playing in my head. Like I thought I was like a millionaire, right? Like I took the money, I tipped the waitress like $20 for a drink. I went into the bathroom, I tipped the bathroom attendant like $20, went to get my shoes shined, and I was just like, I am hooked. Like I'm coming back to this place
God almighty.
forever.
I fucking love that story,
Yeah.
dude. I want to end the show with this. I couldn't agree with you more about like the rush.
Yeah.
Dude, I just like to drink. I've never done any drugs, but I always hear people tell me about like the rush you get when you do this or you're on cocaine or whatever it might be. When the roulette wheel is spinning and you and your friends are on like the same color or number, or like you've hit 5 for 5 on your parlay and you need the last leg, you live for the sweat, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
You live for that rush to have a chance to win. Money won will always be better than money earned.
Yeah.
Because you could make $5,000 a week, but if we go to the table and you win $500, that shit feels like $10K.
Yeah.
And the rush, it's we have this running joke on the show where like I'll take plus 5,000 over sex any day of the week. If I could get that every week, I would take that over sex every time. And the rush, man, the rush is it's the best.
It is.
It's the best. Nothing beats it.
I say I like gambling and I love Vegas.
It's the greatest city on earth. That's the title of the episode. Demystifying the greatest city on earth. Las Vegas, Nevada.
Big vibes. Ross, this was awesome, man. No one's ever given us money on the show.
Yeah, what do you want to go do with this, Ross?
It's yours. You can do whatever you want. Bet it however you want.
I want to make content with you playing this.
Yeah, whatever you want to
Would
do.
they trip out if we're filming at the tables here?
They don't really like
tables,
it. You gotta kinda be
Here at
stealth.
the Wynn?
they're pretty anal about that
Oh,
stuff.
I just saw a pit boss. He said,
Yeah.
no, all right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
He already came
we
by.
You gotta be a little
They're on
stealth.
top of that shit, bro.
Yeah.
But it's your money. Do whatever you want. Bet it. Invest it.
Crypto?
Do whatever you want.
I got an idea.
All right, what are we going to do?
You're going to like this. I say we do a parlay. We go 100 each on the parlay.
Perfect.
We take Bills.
Yes.
We take Giants. Come on.
Add another team in there. I would rather add the Bears. The Bears are underdogs this week.
What were you? Give me what were your
I
picks?
know, but that was gonna be in my underdogs.
So
I was gonna make an underdog parlay.
your
with the
trust me was the Giants. You fuck.
Bears. I know, but when you said it just now to put it in this parlay, I'm like,
Now you got
fuck,
nervous.
I don't know if I want it,
All right,
bro.
let's do
All
this.
right.
Ready?
Yeah.
We'll go
Bills, Giants.
We'll go Bills, Giants, and Packers. It's my trust me.
Okay.
It's my trust me, your trust me, and the
And an Adriana.
Yeah. Hey, you got to deliver.
And I'm in it with you guys.
He's in it with
Yeah,
us.
Ross
And
already
that's-
told
and
me.
that's our parlay.
Yes.
And we'll go and
Yeah.
we'll take a picture of the ticket since we won't be able to take a picture.
Yep.
Recording it. And yeah, that'll be our week 9 bet.
Perfect.
Fuck yeah. Ross, you're the man. Thank
Thank
you so much.
Thank you for
It
having
was
me.
fun. I appreciate you also for always showing love on the social content. You've reposted it. You've tagged us. You've done a bunch of cool stuff for us. I appreciate it sincerely. Let the people know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, just search for me, Ross's Boss. I'm on all the platforms. I started on TikTok, but I'm on X, Instagram, YouTube. Like I spell the names differently because of annoying handles. I almost have the trademark, so I can get like the actual all the right
sick.
names. But just search for Ross's Boss. You'll find me. And thank you guys for having me on. I'm legitimately a fan. I love watching you guys. I listen to the podcast, and yeah, it's awesome. And what I always say when I end my videos: stay boss.
Let's go,
love that.
baby. Let's
Wow.
go. Tell the people where they can find you, George.
At Mr. George Carmona, episode of Pin and Pool dropped on Tuesday, so make sure you go watch that. I'll be in Arkansas this week. Nick, 11 a.m. You're not going to believe it. 50 degrees, raining. Football season has arrived, bro. That's football right there. 50 degrees and raining at 11 a.m. in the middle of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Sign me up. This
And
is why we love
Junior
this
is
shit.
going to be pushing people back fucking 12 yards. Like, we're ground and pounding.
He's a tank.
Let's go, baby.
He's a
Shout out to Double Nickels on the O-line. At Nick Day is Tenors. You can find me. All things Veterans Minimum or at Veterans Minimum. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Russ's boss.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.